everything that all of them have said, because if not for MBGCS and the Scholastic Award last year, I wouldn't have ever tried writing a children's book. So thank you so much. And thank you for going on with this. I wish I were here in May, but I wouldn't be here, so I'm going to miss this year's AFCC. But last year, the Arts House was like an eye-opener. It was incredible, it was exciting. And now I'll very quickly read you one, well, not one page, but 3 short paragraphs to tell you what this is about. When I started trying to enter for the competition, I didn't know anything about writing for children. So I went back to 2 of my favorite books when I was like between 6 and 10 years old. And that turned out to be Heidi and Little House in the Big Woods. Both very nice, sweet, simple stories, and both set like a lifetime and a world away. So this is where this book is set. The little girl here is not American and not Swiss. Years ago, this is from page 17, Michael Wang, Lizi's father, had been born in Singapore. He had lived in Singapore all his life until he went to England to study. There he met another foreign student, Juliette Fournier, who turned out to be Lizi's mother, though of course she was not born until much later. They fell in love and they got married, and neither they nor Lizi had been back to Singapore since. And this is fun. Juliette was French and Michael was Singaporean. Lizi's mother's great-grandparents had come to France from Cameroon in Africa. Her father's grandparents had come to Singapore from Canton in China. Cameroon and Canton were even further apart than France and Singapore could ever be. So that's why Lizi was, that's where she came from. This is why she came to Singapore. Michael Wong had died last year, so he would never get back to Singapore now. But right after the funeral service, Lizi's mother said to her, "We'll make a visit to Singapore to meet your papa's family." "Why?" Lizi said. "Because I promised your father," her mother had replied. Later on you find out in the book there's a lot more tangles, there's a lot more complications, there's a lot more money problems, and there's a lot more nasty relatives, but you have to get the book to see. And another thing I liked about Heidi and Little House in the Big Woods years ago was the food. So I wrote about food. But there's also bad food, you see, in Singapore and in those books. So page 25. After that, Aunt Mona and Boy Boy fed her. All they seemed to ever eat in Singapore was instant noodles. Lizi ate instant noodles for every meal for her first 2 days, and then she said, "Can I have something else?" Aunt Mona stressed, "I told you I cannot stand picky eaters. We are not rich. You know we are not rich. Anyway, you can choose which flavor you want. But there's chicken curry and there's pepper crab." But there was no chicken curry or pepper crab in the noodles. They were just the labels on the seasoning packets that Boy Boy shook over and stirred into the cooked noodles. "I can eat bread," Lizi suggested. Plain bread was not something Lizi normally liked to eat. But after all the instant noodles for lunch, instant noodles for dinner, and instant noodles if you're hungry in between, she thought it would be very good to eat plain bread. But Aunt Mona said no, plain bread is only for breakfast. And then there's also good food in Singapore, because you can't write a book about Singapore without good food. This is from page 75. "You must try this. Kaya toast was your pa's favorite." And as soon as she tasted it, Lizi loved the thick, buttery kaya toast. As she ate, she watched Agwan cracking eggs expertly into their dishes. They had soft, cloudy whites with rich orange yolks, and Agwan added soya sauce and a sprinkle of pepper into the dish before pushing it across the table to Lizi. It looked interesting, but Lizi hesitated. "How do you eat this?" she said. There was more good-natured laughter in response to this. One of the stall assistants mimed lifting the dish to his lips, tilting his head more backwards and pouring the contents into his mouth. Lizi was not sure she could manage that. "Just scoop it into your open mouth with a spoon," Agwan suggested. He demonstrated, putting the plate of soft egg to his mouth and swallowing. Eating directly off plates was one of the things Lizi had been told that grown-ups never did, and that she herself should never do in front of grown-ups. But the rules seemed to be different in Singapore. She did as the others demonstrated. It was a strange sensation. Lizi felt as though she was swallowing a fluffy white cloud that was full of warm yellow sunshine. "Good," she said. And of course there's drama, there's trauma, there's stress, there's almost getting drowned, there's mud sweepers, and there's a happy ending. But I'll end for now, and All the best for this year's AFCC. I would be in Singapore, but I wish I could be because last year I learned so much from all of you. Thank you very much.